Hello dear YouTube friends. You're seeing me now in a different setup. I was allowed to borrow my daughter's microphone stand and I bought an adapter for my phone cam to film myself. So now we're looking at me from a different angle. So hello, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mending. I'm a Dutch visual artist and I think I've been away for, I haven't exactly been posting regularly or a lot, and I thought it was high time for an update, and well, here it is. So let me begin by saying that I did a lot of soul searching in the past months, years, but the past months were most intense, I think, about the direction my work is going and what I'm doing exactly. And something came out of that thought process for my YouTube channel, which is basically, at this point, at this moment, the videos are going to be about an artist's life on the mend. And that means to say that if those of you who've been following me for a longer period of time, I used to do a lot of watercolor reviews, so that's where most people pick me up from. Those who've been following me for a while now know that I have been out of the saddle for a long time due to chronic pain. And that was a really bad situation. Eventually, I couldn't even work anymore. So I've been, I've always called myself a pinball machine ball, as my life was pretty much determined by my body and the energy that was left. And at the time, I was really brave about it, trying to keep up a smile. But, in hindsight, it was a pretty heavy time. And, medically, we found a solution. It does have it does have some side effects, but my life is very, very good right now. I mean, side effects I can live with fine anytime, as long as the pain is gone. So that's good. The other part is that, when you, if you have a job and you fall ill, then after you get better, you can go back into that job. When you've been working very hard to be a professional artist and you fall ill for a long time, also exactly in that time where the internet changed into a purely commercial thing, social media changed, everything changed in those years. When I came back, it was pretty much like Rip Van Winkle, after so many years waking up from a sleep, after which he hardly recognized the world. I don't want to be too dramatic about it, but part of it really was that way. Like, I've always been an early adopter of the internet, and for me, I was already teaching online in the days of the forums, and I was teaching online in social media. I was among the first to do that, and when I came back, everything had changed into a world that now is different. It's purely commercial, everything's mainstream. It used to be an outsider place, now it's very much a mainstream place where outsiders are already, drifting away from. I happen to know a lot of artists, a lot of creative professionals that are moving away from social media, that are moving away from the mainstream and are leaving to platforms like Mastodon or other platforms I haven't ever heard of. And also when YouTube things are changing, the algorithms now on YouTube I find highly annoying. As a YouTube user, I hardly get presented with videos anymore that I'm interested in, and that makes me really worried about who gets to see my videos now. I am very much afraid hardly anyone who would be interested is going to get to see them. So I did a lot of thinking about, what kind of artist am I? What kind of work do I want to make? Because in those years with the chronic pain, I couldn't do anything. And, it was like standing by the side of the highway. Everybody was rushing by in careers, in, taking on a new study so they could, change careers. But people were on the move. People were taking big steps. And there I was completely frozen in that physical state where I couldn't do anything, or I could do something, you know, I could keep my family running, which was a pretty big deal. I could draw a little. I mean, if you look back on my Instagram, you can see I've never done nothing. I've always worked, but I'm saying quote unquote worked, because I've never done the work I wanted to do. I wanted to do series of work. I wanted to do bigger bodies of work, like not just a bigger body in the sense of a series. I wanted to do bigger, larger canvases. I wanted to really explore certain media that I have been studying. So that is something I wanted to work on, but I couldn't, because that kind of work requires a lot of focus. And if anything, chronic pain just kills focus, because it will always just, you know, diffuse your mind. And also, when you have chronic pain, maybe you know someone who has chronic pain, or maybe you have chronic pain, what also happens is that when the pain comes up, you're trying to look for techniques to reduce the pain. So, you know, people who are more advanced than it, who've had courses and everything, they might revert to meditation or something. So did I, and it sometimes helped. But mostly what I did was watch the news, social media, television programs I'd been missing. I would watch the next day on the internet, but, you know, fragmented. Like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. My whole life would be fragmented. And for the kind of work I wanted to do, I needed focus. I needed larger bodies of time. And I also needed to isolate myself, to withdraw in a bubble. And so that in that bubble, I could create my own world. And that I could develop the routines and the, how do you say that? Oh God, I can't find that word. But when you're working on something, and I find that with a change of materials and techniques, or even themes, you develop different kind of actions around that. Like, not the work itself, not just the work itself changes, but also everything you do around it. Like, make yourself comfortable, install your workplace, keeping your supplies in stock, washing your hands. It can sometimes almost be a sacred kind of action around your work to get into that space where you can work from that kind of feeling. That you conjure up with, you know, God, what is it again? It's not tradition. Is that word? English is not my first language, and that's usually not a problem. Sometimes it's just that one word I can't get to, where you have certain actions that are almost sacral or sacred. It's not traditions is the other thing. Well, maybe later, maybe it comes up later. But anyway, so yeah, I am now in that place where I feel a lot better, and I can really start working on the things I want to work on. So that's really great. There is just one little hiccup, and that's that we got ourselves a puppy the day before Christmas. He's called Rover, and he's not awake. He's asleep now, but I will show him in the next video. But I wanted to let him sleep for now because my daughter was over for a few days, and they've been playing wildly and madly for a couple of days. So he was really tired. He's now asleep. But God, that was an invasion in my life and in my time and my energy. Puppy is madness. And we had puppies before, so it wasn't like I didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. But, you know, knowing something and experiencing it is something different altogether. So I think we have moved on beyond that first mayhem stage. He is now, you know, I've trained dogs. I've trained lots of dogs, actually. Also dogs with behavioural issues. So I know about dogs. So we're doing something right. He's quite young. He's rather well trained for his age. And also what's really, really great is, you know, we have a bond now where, you know, he knows that I'm the queen bitch of the house. I'm queen bitch. I am alpha. He needs to listen, period. But when he wants to listen as well. And then he comes sit with me. And it's like, if you've seen our videos before, you know I have a really big dog, a giant schnauzer. He's a big, cuddly bear. He's my studio assistant. He's wonderful. He will lie at my feet most of the time when I'm in the studio. Now, Rover, that's Tibber. Tibber is the giant schnauzer. Now we have Rover, and Rover is, well, he's black, and he's got sort of curly-whirly, really crazy hair, because he's a mixed Patterdale Terrier poodle. So we don't know what he's going to end up looking like. Black, that we know. And he's not going to be very big. We think it's going to be the size of a Jack Russell Terrier. And he is part terrier, so terrier at times. But sometimes now, and that's really awesome. The moment that happened for the first time, I could cry. I was exhausted. I was exhausted from raising that puppy. And then for the first time, he sat beside me, you know, he really leaned in with his shoulder. He leaned into my leg, and then he looked up at me like, I'm a good boy, am I not? And it's like, yes, yes. That's when your dog does that, when your dog comes to you to ask for that little bit of confirmation that he's a good boy, then you know you're bonding. That's when you know your dog is paying attention. And that's what happened with Rover. And that happened really quickly. It happened a lot more quickly than with dogs that we had before. So all the effort I put in, all the energy was worth it. So, and that's really awesome. And I trained him not to eat the furniture or clothes or shoes. And that's not to say he's never ever going to do such a thing, right? I'm always going to have to keep watching him. But things are a lot better now than, you know, a couple of weeks ago. That being said, it's still going to take some time and effort on my behalf to raise him, and I will have to put time into raising him that I won't be able to put into my art. Yes, it was a conscious decision. Does it hurt? Yes, it still hurts. You know, life is not black and white. Sometimes a situation can cut both ways, and it can be really lovely as well as a little bit hard at the same time. So that's the place where we are today. But it's super interesting, and he's gonna make a really great studio assistant. Yeah, and the two of them are really great together. You know, Tibber is a really, really good big brother for Rover. So if I get the chance, I'll shoot a video and put that into a video in the future. Right, so now let's talk about my YouTube channel, my work. That's something that maybe you're interested in since you're here on YouTube. And my thinking process does have an effect on that. Need to have a drink. Talking a lot makes my throat itch. So I actually took notes because I wanted to have a sort of like a structure in this talk. In thinking about my work, what I'm going to do, in the years of chronic pain, I made a gazillion plans. And for many of those plans, I prepared websites, I wrote texts, I reserved domain names, and oh God. So and when I got better, I wanted to work on everything at once, and I wanted to finish everything because I had been able to think so long and hard about all these things that it was just a matter of doing it, right? And that's when I tried doing that, I found out that actually I had changed over the years. My mind and heart had changed over the years. I found out that I no longer wanted to do the things I thought I wanted to do back then. So there was a process for me where I had to accept that all the thinking and all the prepping I had been doing was merely a survival skill at that moment. So it served its purpose, but now I had to let it go. And that was really, really hard because I had some really, really great ideas. I hope somebody's going to realize someday, but it's not going to be me. I had to accept that what I feel, what I need, what I want to do is a lot different. So I sort of withdrew in my shell, and what I did was I cancelled everything. Like, okay, it's gone, it's gone, yes, it's gone. Don't think about it, don't look back, don't think about it twice. Everything is gone. The only thing I have left now is my website, mendingvangoeje.com. I have my Instagram that I'm not actually really using a lot because really, It's hardly any use. And I have my YouTube channel, and I have the newsletter. So those are the things I want to keep. Although Instagram, I'm not yet sure. If you've heard my videos before, you know I have really great problems with Meta and the way social media and the algorithms, and so I might still leave someday. But for now, I'm keeping those things. And what I'm going to do, what I'm going to be focusing on is I'm going to focus on my art and developing my art. And all those other plans are wonderful. I'm not going to do them. And the other thing I'm going to keep doing is the journals, the illustrated journals, or illustrated diaries. This is a page that I finished today. Here are the notes, the process notes, and the swatching, and here is the actual drawing. And I made, this is the 6th book already that I filled with images like these, and I want to keep on making them. In the beginning I was like, well, they're not, I won't be able to sell them, I won't be able to do anything commercial with them. What's the use? It's not work, I shouldn't be doing it. When I don't do it, I notice that part of me gets forgotten, and it's part of my creative process, even though my final work is incredibly different. Hold on, I'll see if I can scoop one. Yes, so here is a painting I finished last week. Hope you can see it. Oh, this is a watercolor painting I finished last week. Completely different than, absolutely 100% different from this. This is ink with watercolor, and the other one is watercolor. It's very high detail versus a graphic style. And, you know, I realize I need them both, so I'm doing them both. And what I am thinking I might be doing is I might start to work on those diary pages in live videos. It sounds a bit odd, but what I would be doing is I would be inking and painting them live, and, you know, having a conversation with people who come in to watch. And I'm not doing that with the watercolor. Why not? Because it's incredibly high detail work, and it takes, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's hyper detail. I don't know if it will, there's not really much focus on that, but anyway, paintings like these can take about sometimes 6 days to finish, 4 to 6 days per, you know, it's only A4 size, but it can take a long time. And also I need to be in that zone, in that bubble to do it. With the diary pages, for me, I need to be in a bubble when I am sketching them. So, you know, the existence of the image is something I do in a bubble, in a different bubble than the watercolor bubble. But once that image is done, it's a matter of finishing it. So inking and coloring. And that's something I can do online, and that I can do live. But the process, the creation of that image is something I need to do inside a bubble. So that's what I'm planning to do. Of course, I'm also going to be talking about mending an artist's life, getting back in the saddle. When I first got a little better, you know, I was expecting to be back in the saddle within a week or so. How naive I was. It takes a longer period of time. If you had to deal with chronic pain or serious illness for a long time, then you know that when you are better, you know, a lot of things happen. You're happy, of course, who's not? Relieved, yes. But there's also a process of mourning, because suddenly when you feel better, you see the debris of your life, that the things you've lost and the things people have moved on without you. And even though you do still have some good friends, probably, hopefully, they moved on as well. And then you have to catch up, or you feel you need to catch up. And you put a lot of pressure on yourself, maybe. So it's there is a whole period of time that came for me where I had to find a new balance, a new equilibrium. I had to find me, because I had lost myself in all the plans I've been making over the years with chronic pain, and I had to get back to who I am. So, and who I am is who I am today. And maybe next year I'm totally different. Maybe next year I'm a stock dealer on Wall Street or something like that. Who knows? But now this is who I am. So very important for me is that this year I made 2 resolutions. The first one is that, and that's something I'm telling you why, I want to use you, the viewer, as a place to answer to, and also to share my experience. My first deals with an addiction of watching the news. And in those years of, you know, recovering from that chronic pain, I realized that, you know, one of the side effects of chronic pain is that you can have very high stress levels. And the thing is, that becomes a habit. So after a while, you no longer need the chronic pain to have high stress levels. And I needed to start sorting out how to lower my stress levels. And for me, a very important thing in that process is news. In the chronic pain years, I used to watch a lot of news because when the pain got bad, I sort of gave myself a shot of information. It didn't matter what information, as long as it would sort of break the pain signal for a while, for a second or something. So I would move to the news, to my timelines on social media a lot. And that became a habit. And it's like a groove in a record right now. It's deep and I can't get the needle out just in a normal way. So yesterday I stopped watching the news, and today I haven't watched any news today yet. And it's only, oh God, I can't tell the time because I'm filming with my phone, but it's only halfway in the afternoon. And the thing is, I feel restless. I have been about to watch the news a gazillion times already. I've asked my daughter to say, don't watch the news. And at the same time, I am beginning to feel a relaxation, a peace that I haven't felt for a long time. I know things are going on. Part of me wanted to, felt I had to witness things that are happening. I read books about no longer watching the news. I watched some TED Talks about no longer watching news. I have a poem by Thich Nhat Hanh about not watching the news. And why? Because the news focuses only on the horrors of the world. And the news is designed to keep your attention only to be able to feed you advertisements. It has nothing to do with good journalism. The thing is that today's news is never good journalism because there's never a full story. It's always moments and you never know if the stories are correct. I remember very well once being completely in shock by news about a bomb attack on innocent people in, don't know if it was Iraq or Afghanistan, I don't know. There was footage of that bomb attack. There were the bodies in the road, 6 men or something killed, 6 or 7 men killed, ruthlessly killed. And also aimlessly because they were completely innocent. And then a couple of weeks later, Bellingcat came up with the issue, came up with the news that all of this was fake. It hadn't happened. They made it into a scene. It was propaganda. And there were so many instances when journalists are trying to tell a good story, but they're so fast, or story is not complete, and then, you know, the facts change later on, and there is so much news that doesn't come out. Like now in Israel, every time Israel does a really bad thing, they turn off the internet so nobody knows about it, you know, real time, and that's just. So you can't really know what's happening by watching the news. So what I've decided to do is what people are recommending is just, you know, watch good journalistic programs about these kinds of things. So you actually are informed in a rounded way, a well-investigated way that looks at things from all sides. And that's not always more reassuring, not at all. But it is at least the kind of information that is more complete than simply watching, you know, all the impulses of today. It was sensory overload for me. You know, sensory, not in the sense of, you know, my senses, but sensory in the sense of it became a physical thing. I got headaches, stomach aches, a lot of cramps and tension in my body. And I began to notice it was really affected by watching the news. So I have decided to let that go, to be able to create that bubble to work from. And the thing is that, you know, I haven't been watching the news for 2 days now, and I already did still hear news, because on the radio they'll have news, the most important news items, and I heard someone talk about the news already. So there is still news coming to me. You know, you would never be able to avoid the news completely, but I don't want to feed myself the news all day long. So that's something I want to try and do this year. I want to try and rip myself away from the news. I want to get rid of the habit, basically. So I'm going to keep you informed on how it goes. And if it really is beneficial to me, I think it will be. It will give me a lot more time to work, that at least. So the other thing I have agreed with myself to do is a no buy 2024. Now, let me explain what no buy means. No buy means that I'm not gonna buy art supplies, you know, just because, for fun, for distraction. You know, if I have a really bad day, I'm not gonna buy art supplies. I'm only going to buy the stuff that I need. So I just, and that's kind of ironic, but I just put in an order for a Moleskine sketchbook that I need, because I thought I had one and I wanted to pick that up because they're really great to work in with color pencils, and I wanted to make a color pencil sketch. And I wanted to get it out of my notebook cabinet, my sketchbook cabinet, and it's not there. Turns out I never had any. So I bought one, and that's going to arrive tomorrow, but I really need that. So basically, I just want to buy the basic necessities. When it comes to paint, I have, for instance, the paint box you see here behind me, and this one. These are my two go-to sets. So if I run out of any of these colors, I will definitely replace them. I will buy a new tube. In fact, I have a new tube of white, a covering white by Rembrandt. That's absolutely fabulous. It is number 106 covering white, and it's tremendously good. So that's something that I will restock. Same goes for erasers, for instance, or if my pencil sharpener should break. But let's say that outside of this set of paints, I run out of another kind of paint, or I run out of, I don't know, then I'm just going to try and look for something else to fill in the gap, because I just want to use more of the stuff that I already have, and I have a lot of stuff. And I also want to challenge myself also by saying, look, you can use the things that you have. And since I have reviewed a lot of paints, I own a lot of art supplies. So no buy. It does hurt a little bit. For instance, I was informed by somebody that there is a really great Rick Rubin book about the creative act, and I heard it was a really great book to have in physical form because it has short chapters that you can read in bed. Now, I'm always by this. I have this little book cabinet in my bedroom that holds books with very short chapters, 2 to 4 pages, and those are the books that I will read in bed, so that I can only read 2 to 4 pages and then fall asleep. So that I really wanted that book. I decided I'm not going to get it. No buy 2024. Do I need it? Is it a basic necessity? No. In fact, it turns out that I have a subscription to an ebook provider that has the book. An audio and ebook provider, and I can use the audiobook, which I won't because I want to read in bed, but if I wanted to, I could. Then there was another thing. We have a smart TV, a first generation smart TV that's not smart anymore because the manufacturer did not update the software, and now the apps no longer work on there. So we have a subscription to a national TV thing, and I wanted we suddenly we couldn't watch the programs through the app anymore, so I got a bit upset. So first we tried hooking up a laptop to the television, and it didn't work. Turns out Windows 11 has problems with the HDMI connection with the television, of course. So I was really pissed off by that, and we actually managed to watch, I think, 4 programs with this dilapidated connection. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I have no desire anymore to watch any television anymore through the laptop. Let's just forget it. So, and then we started thinking about it, and I'm not really fond of television. I prefer to quote unquote watch television when I'm painting. I merely listen to it in the background, but my husband really does like watching television every now and then. So then I thought about it, and I thought, oh God, maybe we have to give in and buy a new TV, which I hate because our TV is working fine. It's just the software that's outdated and the manufacturer won't update. So that pisses me off, but you know, after some time, there is a lot of stress that comes from not being able to operate your devices. So, and then we spoke about it and we talked about it, and then we thought, you know what, maybe we could also get a digital receiver, which we did. You know, we got ourselves a digital receiver for 1/7, 1/8 of the price of a new TV, and it works like clockwork. We have really good HD television right now. We can fully operate the apps that we need, so it's working. And we can even watch YouTube on our TV now, which is great, because there was this really great Sarah Millican full show on YouTube. Oh my God, nearly pissed myself laughing. I love her. I really love her. She's got my sense of humour. So if you think I am a really decent woman, watch her shows and you know I'm not. But that was really great. So we're thinking about things, when to spend and what to spend on. And we're just trying to boil it down to the necessities. So that I will report to you about as well the moment that I run into something that I would really love to buy, but I'm not, because it's not basic necessity. Right, and then the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is, and I'll certainly get back to you about that, is I have enrolled and I've been admitted into an art show this August. It's my first art show in 8 years, I think, 8 or 9 years. I did one very shortly after we moved here, and then afterwards things happened and there was no space in my mind, and then the chronic pain came, blah, blah, blah. So, but now I feel I'm there, and I am working on a new series of faces, of which this is one. I have more, there are more faces that I have been working on, and they are part of a new series. I will keep you informed about my progress in working on those series. So I don't know, I don't think I'll be showing a lot of me painting, or maybe I will, but I don't know. I have to see how much I can do inside that bubble, because I don't know yet. And I think especially now in the coming months, I'll be very busy juggling with a puppy and my artist time. So yeah, that's the story. That's where I'm at. That's the update for now. And God, there are loads and loads of things that I could talk about. I'm a very chatty person, as some of you will know. And if you have any questions, then let me know. So this is the place where I work. This is my slanted workspace, which is fabulous. We built that ourselves. We composed it of things that we bought online, and I created a custom slanted worktop for myself. Right there is a big drawing table that I'll show you another time. And I'm just really glad with the mic stand, because it really holds my telephone very well, and I really like being able to share a little bit of this background with you. Previously, I would always be filming with my entire studio behind me, and that, you know, was always a bit dark and a bit glum and sometimes a bit messy. And yeah, well, anyway, I hope you have enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed making it. Need another sip. Oh, before you go, if you are interested in keeping up to date, I will be I'm going to be putting out my newsletter more regularly, and it's not going to be a commercial thing. It's going to be an update on the things that I'm doing. So in my newsletter, I will be sharing with you guys my process. I will be sharing my diary pages, old ones and new ones. And I will be sharing with you all the interesting things that I saw that week. Now, this week we saw a really lovely movie, and last Saturday I was at an art show, at a museum, an art museum in The Hague, and it was really, really fabulous. So I have tons to share, and also there are elements in that art, in the art that I saw, that I know are going to come back in my own work. So those are things I'm going to be sharing with you guys. And if you're curious, if you would like to follow, then please sign up in the link below here. And also, I'm going to be moving my newsletter to Substack. So right now, you might, I need to see if I'm already putting up a link to Substack, or that I will still give you the link to MailChimp, because I still have to figure out how Substack works. I did make an account, but I didn't really look into how it works yet. It's still, you know, early days. But if you sign up for MailChimp now, you will soon get a letter from Substack. So I hope, you know, I'm just going to move my my address book to Substack and move it over there, because there are some features there that I think are better for me than MailChimp is. So yeah, basically I think that's all I wanted to say for now. Maybe there are a gazillion other things I could talk about, but then I'm going to maybe overload your ears, so let's not give you a sensory overload. And I wish you a really, really great week, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next video. And if you liked my video, please give me your thumbs up, or subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done that, because these days on YouTube we really need that. Or make a remark or something, leave behind a comment, because YouTube wants us to generate interaction in order to boost our views. And well, I am not into that kind of thing, and I really hate asking for it, but that's the way it works on YouTube. So yeah, if you can do that for me, that would be really, really great. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye.